So good morning boys, once again. We are back with our favorite chapter, molecular inheritance. And in that we have been discussing and deliberating upon HGP for the last two sessions. And there are targets, goals to be achieved in HGP. We discussed that, goals of HGP and what actually is done on ground and how it is done through methodologies. We said ESTs, expressed sequence tags, and sequence annotation. These are the two methods that are used. And procedure we discussed. And then technology, help of technology in making the HGP project successful, we discussed. And thanks to this gentleman who has made the sequence of amino acids, okay, and a new branch of biology has started. I said bioinformatics. Some of you can join when you become big boys, okay, like Prasad, MSc bioinformatics. Some universities are providing that, okay, you can join, and that's having a good future. And we were talking about the actual genes that are present on each chromosome. And we said chromosome 1 has got maximum genes, around 2968 genes, and the lowest is with the 231 genes on Y chromosome. And then salient features, okay, how many have been done, we talked. And based on this technology, we have gone for the new way of finding out the culprits. That's called DNA fingerprinting, or it's also called DNA profiling. Now salute this man, Alec Jeffreys. He has developed this technique, and he has made all of us biology boys, biology students proud. Okay, that means there is a direct contribution of biology towards the social issues, society problems. And even biology can help police department. How it is done? Through this technique, DNA fingerprinting. So basically, it is taking the view or help of the DNA. So what we do here, in a nutshell, I will tell you, in DNA fingerprinting, we take the nucleic acid sequences or polynucleotidal sequences of a person. Rather, let's say there is a crime scene, someone is murdered. Now what the police department will do? Normally they visit that place, they take the dog squad, dogs will go there, they smell, and they run towards a direction, and after reaching certain place they stop. Then it is the police department duty to search for the culprit, okay, and let us say they catch a culprit there and then put him behind the bars. And then that fellow, if he has got money and influence, he will engage a lawyer. That goes to the court. You're all seeing in the TV, you're all reading in the newspapers, isn't it? And the case goes on for years and years. And then there is something called bailable arrest and non-bailable arrest. So somehow the person gets bail and he will be out in the society, isn't it? We're all seeing this happening in India. There comes our biology. So with the delay in cases, there are cases that are running 30-40 years. Even the judges are expressing their opinion. They always write to the government that let us speed up the actions from the judiciary. But with large populations, unfortunately with crime rate increasing in India, the amount of courts, the amount of judges is lagging behind the numbers. So naturally the judgments will be delayed. So here the biology is coming to the help. quickly, without wasting much time, we can catch the culprit. What is the way? Collect first blood, or if the person is not available to us, okay, what we do? Like many times in the crime scene, police will collect some fingernails, some hairs, they collect footprints, they collect even semen, they collect even sweat. This is enough for us. So through that, the fingernails, skin cells, blood, semen, footprint, sweat, one drop of sweat is enough for us. We extract DNA of that person, right? With this. And then we go for the analysis of the DNA. And then we also go for the suspects. We ask the people, whom do you suspect? Who must have done this crime? So we collect the say blood sample through suspected persons, and their DNA also will be studied. Yes, Sandeep. Yes, Sandeep. Speak louder. I am not able to hear you.
Even if you touch something, sir,
Okay.
yourself will start.
Yeah. Yes. Just mere touch.
We can identify by that.
Yes. One skin cell is enough. Even sweat. From sweat we can.
Touching something, sir.
Yeah, touching something. Enough. Even just mere touch, and our skin cells will shed off on the surface of the say person or a thing. That's why the police department, when they reach the crime scene, they collect. Okay, they search for either a nail, a blood drop, a sweat drop, okay, even the dresses they are wearing. So from all this, we can have just one cell. That's enough to catch the culprit. So what we do in this DNA fingerprinting is we try to match the sequence of nucleotides, okay, of the DNA that is available in the crime scene with the suspected fellows. So whenever the sequences of DNA available in the form of nail, skin cell, blood drop, semen drop, sweat, and we compare that with the suspected fellows, and if there is matching, there is no doubt, biologically we will fix the culprit, and this takes place hardly a week. This is how many cases which are unsolved for decades are solved in days. So thanks to our biology Kadkol, right? This is how it's taking place. Okay. So DNA fingerprinting is basically it's a technique. Just a minute. Okay. Yes. Thank you. Welcome. Exam department. Right, boys. So basically, DNA fingerprinting is a technique to identify a person on the basis of his or her DNA specificity. We compare the sequences that are there between the DNA that is available in the scene of crime and DNA that is available through suspected persons. The moment both the sequences are matching, that's the end of the story. And that is the reason why I said this, since this is reducing the time, as I said, it is decades to fix a person through judiciary, now through biology, it is only days. Second, 100% authenticity will be there in this. There is no element of doubt whether the culprit is identified, and is there any error in this? No chance. Okay, and that is the greatness of the discovery of this Alec Jeffreys. So in 1984, this gentleman discovered this technique. So in India, in our country also, DNA fingerprinting has been started by one Kashyap, okay, and Lalji Singh, on Dr. Kashyap and Dr. Lalji Singh. And you know, DNA of human is almost the same for all individuals. For you, me, everything is same. But very small amount differs from person to person, okay, and that difference of small amount is helping us to identify the people through analysis. And the differences is called, as I said in my previous class, polymorphism. Poly means many, morph means forms, many forms. And these are the key for DNA typing. So in what way me and Sandeep differ? Through polymorphism. So polymorphisms is the difference between one person to another person of their DNA. This is most useful to investigation, and we call this as forensic investigators. And people who are expert in analyzing this technique, they are called, forensic scientists. So even biology boys among you, you can become a forensic scientist. It consists of variations in the length of DNA at a specific position, and that specific position is called restricted fragment, and it is most important segment for DNA, which is made up of what we call VNTRs. Now this is the technical word which is helping us. VNTRs. V stands for variable, N for number, and T for tandem, and R for repeat. So the VNTR stands for variable number of tandem repeats. That means this polymorphic ones will be keep on repeating, and that will be the clue for us to identify the person. So VNTRs, of course, another name is there, Kadkol, for this. You must have read in some books, though not in your textbook. They are called mini satellites. The other name for this VNTR is mini satellites. And again, these mini satellites are discovered by this man only, Alec Jeffrey. And this restricted fragment consists of hypervariable repeat region of DNA having a basic repeat sequence of 11 to 60. What will be the difference? The difference is only 11 to 60 base pairs. And these are both the sites, it's flanked by restriction sites. Okay, restriction sites. On one side, let's say nitrogen base starts, it starts off with a restriction site, and at the end of 60th base pair, it ends. Again, there will be a restriction site. So the number and position of VNTRs or mini satellites in a restriction fragment is different for each DNA, and the length of restricted fragment depends on naturally VNTRs. So this is the only difference in the DNA of each person, and this small difference, say 11 to 60 base pairs, will make Sandeep and Kadkol. Okay, even though the DNA profile will be same among all of us, it's the DNA that makes us all the secrets. Okay, here we go. How to do this? Now, it is the technique to identify the similarities and dissimilarities of the DNA fragments of two individuals. As I said, one individual is the culprit, another is the suspected ones. Okay, and this is developed by this gentleman, Alec Jeffrey, and DNA carries some non-coding repetitive sequences. Just now we said VNTRs, and number of repeats is specific from person to person, and it depends on length also. You can see the repeats, 8 repeats, 9 repeats, 10 repeats, like this. And repetitive DNA can be separated from bulk genome of DNA as different peaks during density gradient centrifugation. What we do? We don't study the entire length of DNA in case of say in a criminal case, in a rape case, or in a biological parental issue. Okay, we go for only these mini satellites, and we make the DNA to undergo the centrifugal and separate those satellites. That is the purpose. So that bulk DNA forms a major peak, and the small peaks are called, as we said, satellite DNAs. Look at that. At the bottom, after the centrifugation, you can see that pink solution. That is a major peak. We are not worried about that because that will be common in every human being, right? But what is not common? That satellite bands, VNTRs, will be separate. That we focus. Okay, and satellite DNA is classified as, we said, microsatellites and mini satellites based on the base composition, that is AT or CG. Which one? Adenine thymine or cytosine guanine? Which one is more present as nitrogenous base form? And length of the segment and number of VNTRs, repeated units. So a DNA sequence which is randomly repeated in many copy number is called VNTRs. Okay, VNTR belongs to mini satellite DNA. Let me expand this so that you can focus on this. Yeah, look at that. Microsatellites. So this is among the VNTRs, this is the mini satellites and microsatellites. Microsatellites, short. How many? 2 to 6 base pairs only. And that is repeated. Repeated 8 times, repeated 20 times. Look at that. And those are called microsatellites or STR. Another one, mini satellite, where the base pairs are more, and you can see the size also. That will be what we call VNTRs, variable number of tandem repeats, and that also repeated 4 times. Okay, now look at that, STRs and VNTRs. So based on this, now I hope you are getting the point. We take these VNTRs in the form of bands and convert this into an X-ray sheet, and then compare the VNTRs pattern and length on the X-ray sheet of the 2 people, or say 10 people. Say 10 people are in the suspected list, and that will be compared with the DNA that is available at the crime site, at the crime scene. I am sure some of you will be seeing that in Sony TV, CBI, no? Okay, crime branch. CID, you must be seeing, no? There what they do is this only, no? They collect that DNA and forensic doctors. Here we are calling them as forensic scientists. So in a person, as I said, copy number varies in each chromosome. How many satellites are there? Mini satellites and microsatellites. It varies from chromosome to chromosome. And 2 alleles, one is paternal, another is maternal. Paternal, father side; maternal, mother side of a chromosome also contain different copy numbers of VNTR. So here see, God has helped us. This will make us to solve one more problem. What is that? Biological father or biological mother issue. Okay? It is not only the crime, say murder cases, rape cases, cheating cases. Not only that, even the biological motherhood and fatherhood can be identified with this. So, thanks to this VNTRs, look at that. In paternal chromosome means the number of VNTRs, and maternal side you see, and these are two alleles of the chromosome. So, it is easy for us to decide which one is going in, because during fertilization what happens, all of you know, we have studied under chapter reproduction. 23 chromosomes from mother, 23 chromosomes from father. Totally the embryo is getting 46 chromosomes, isn't it? So when we study that 46 chromosomes of the baby and the VNTR pattern either from mother's side or father's side, which is a dispute, is studied like this. Now it goes without saying who is the biological father and who is biological mother, isn't it? So VNTR is specific from person to person, and the size you see very small it is, kilobase 0.1 to 20 kb. Look at the God's creation. Just with the small size difference we are able to catch lakhs of people. That is the greatness of the God, isn't it? Now look at that. Again he is giving one more. STRs, VNTRs, microsatellites and mini satellites. So this is the polymorphism. DNA polymorphism, what we say, SNPs, single nucleotide. So polymorphisms have great role in evolution and speciation. That is of course based on the presence of one nitrogen base within the same DNA, right? So any difference in the nucleotide sequence, which is inheritable mutation, observed in a population is called DNA polymorphism. It's a variation at genetic level. So polymorphism is higher in non-coding DNA sequence because mutations in these sequences may not affect an individual's reproductive ability. These mutations accumulate generation after generation, causing polymorphism. Okay. Now we go to the procedure part of it. How exactly we do this DNA fingerprinting? Let me shorten this little bit. Yes. Now you can see step number 1. What is required in the crime scene? Look at that. We need out of these at least one, so that we can isolate the DNA. What is that we require? 1 drop of blood stain. Normally, you know, in a crime scene, since there will be a lot of fighting, maybe somebody has put a chaku, someone has hit with a stone, someone physically beaten, so there is bleeding from mouth, bleeding from nose, bleeding from the external body. So 1 drop is enough for us. And then during rape cases, 1 drop of semen stain also is enough. Saliva is enough. Hairs, bones, skin cells, look at that. Any one enough to catch the culprit. Out of all, any one. And from that, isolate DNA. How to isolate DNA? Already I told you. Apply the enzymes. The moment we put the enzymes, those enzymes will dissolve. RNAs, like Sandeep remembers, an enzyme that dissolves RNA. Proteases, proteins that digest the, enzymes that digest the proteins, like that. One after the other. Finally, what remains in the cell? It is the plasma membrane and DNA. And we have got enzymes that can dissolve the plasma membrane, even cell wall if it is there, finish. And what is left out is DNA. Second, digestion of DNA means we are going to separate. Here, to cut the DNA into small fragments. You see, digestion means what? Breaking bigger thing into smaller one, isn't it? And we can't cut this with a chaku or a scissor, all of you know, because we are not cutting vegetables. Here we are cutting DNA. And we need 1 biological scissor. You see, not ordinary physical scissor. We need biological scissor. And which is that biological scissor? An enzyme called restriction endonuclease. You must remember this. So in your MCQ, this may be asked. An enzyme, or name the enzyme that digests DNA or that breaks DNA. Restriction endonuclease. And look at that, what it is doing. See that blue ribbon? At specific sites it is cutting, that too. That is the greatness of this enzyme. Okay, we want that DNA should be cut after adenine sequence. Okay. Yeah, done. Is it again logged? Okay. Right, come back, Sandeep.
Yes, sir.
Yeah. So, we first isolate, Sandeep. First step number 1 is isolation of DNA. Step number 2 is cutting the DNA into small fragments. And for this, we require a molecular scissor called an enzyme called restriction endonuclease. Right? And third step, separation of DNA fragments. Whatever small fragments that we got, we need to separate them so that we can study the base sequences. You know, our ultimate aim is to take out those V and TRs, no? So here we use one method to do that. That method is called Southern blotting technique. Look at that. This is how the machine will be there. Southern blots. There is anode, cathode, positive charge, negative charge, and all the fragments that we have cut, we poured on that, and there will be an X-ray sheet like thing will be there, and when we pour and give the charge, the DNA fragments are coming up like in X-ray sheet. Look at that. And there is separation, longer molecules one side, shorter molecules other side. So this technique is called Southern blotting technique. And there is a medium. You see, for this machine there should be a medium, and that's why we are using that as gel electrophoresis. Okay, gel, there will be a gel. So treat the DNA fragments with an alkyl solution, NaOH, to denature DNA bonds in the gel into single strands. This is the purpose. Gel electrophoresis. Why electrophoresis? We are using current, electricity, cathode and anode. Why gel? There is a liquid medium in that. Okay, that is the reason why we are using this name, gel electrophoresis. Okay, and once this is done, gel electrophoresis is done, now there is this V and TRs will be in the form of small strips, and those small strips will be appearing like how we see in the X-ray. When we see the X-ray sheet, how we can see the shape and size of the bones and where there is a fracture, all that same way here we can see. Now once this is done, we transfer that. For more accuracy, what we do, we transfer that fragments into a synthetic nylon sheet. Okay, and that nylon sheet is made up of a chemical substance called nitrocellulose. What for? This method is done to ensure more clarity of the fragments. Look at that. You can see the electrophoresis is done, wherein we are separating two types of fragments, DNA fragments, big sized ones and small sized ones. And now we are transferring that into another machine. Okay, and look at that. It's in the form of paper towels. The medium we said nitrocellulose membrane, and then this is for clarity. And then we go for the pressing of this nitrocellulose membrane. They will be in the form of sheets, like how Dhobi puts, no, for your cloth. After the ironing, you will put some weight like that. And why we should do all this? For this sake, for more clarity, because we are dealing with small fraction of DNA, and if there is any error, minute error, one nitrogen base sequence disappears or one nitrogen base is disappearing, then our procedure for criminal inquiry will be wrong. So we don't want to take any step, because the law says innocent person should not be killed. There may be a criminal may escape, but because criminal escaped, we should not put that case on an innocent. That is the aim of the law. Okay, so we ensure that even one nitrogen base should not miss from this. What we do? We go for the radioactive type for further clarification. This is called hybridization. So hybridization using radioactive labeled VNTRs, so that every nitrogen base that is present in the blood sample or hair, whatever it is, will be highlighted. Look at that. Place the nitrocellulose filter paper in a solution of radioactive labeled single stranded DNA probe. So the DNA probe binds with the complementary sequences of the DNA fragment on the membrane to form hybridized DNA. This is what is done here. Look at that. So radioactive VNTR probe, then it is washed, and the VNTR probe hybridized to DNA fragments. Now the DNA fragments are spread across. Now there is a pattern with this. There is a pattern of nitrogenous sequences of the DNA, and now we compare the sequences. So deletion of hybridized DNA from autoradiography, that is hybridized DNA is photographed onto a X-ray film. Look at that. We are taking onto a X-ray film, and through that X-ray film we are able to see the sequences. Look at that. X-ray film exposed, and look at the DNA sequences. This is for one DNA we are doing. This is autoradiogram gives an image in the form of dark and light bands. So whenever we get this dark and light bands, DNA fragments, now compare this dark and light bands that are spread across with the suspected person. Let's say in any criminal case or in any rape case, the police will do the enquiry and get a list of suspected people. So compare their DNA with the DNA that is available at the scene, crime scene. Now the pattern of sequences are same. See next slide. We are going for the next one. Look at that. So DNA fingerprint differs in everyone except in identical twins. So the sensitivity of the technique can be increased by use of PCRs, polymerase chain reaction. Therefore, DNA from single cell is enough for DNA fingerprinting. Now in case, look at the pattern, in case since it is a small fraction, clarity is not there, then we go for the repetition of those DNA sequences. Okay, this is called PCR, polymerase chain reaction, so that we can compare the PCRs from the suspected person to this. That is the method. Okay, so I'll be posting this. Maybe Monday we will take up again this with specific examples. Then meanwhile you go through this video. Okay, I'll take up the class on Monday. Bye then. On Share.